Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, go
Our
ahead.
mission. Helping Parents Heal is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting bereaved parents. Through support and resources offered, we aspire to help individuals become shining light parents, meaning a shift from a state of emotional heaviness to one of hopefulness and greater peace of mind. Helping Parents Heal goes a step beyond other groups by allowing the open discussion of spiritual experiences and afterlife evidence in a non dogmatic way. Helping Parents Heal affiliate groups welcome everyone, regardless of religious or non religious background, and encourage open dialogue. Attendance at all meetings is voluntary. All discussions that take place at affiliate led meetings are confidential. We hope that participants will learn from and share with each other. Zoom meetings run by leadership are not confidential. These meetings typically feature guest presenters and are posted on YouTube so that affiliate members worldwide can watch and benefit. Neither type of Helping Parents Heal meeting is designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. Helping Parents Heal offers a wide variety of speakers, allowing parents to learn about many possible ways to heal. This includes presenters covering progressive topics such as afterlife evidence and connecting with our children who have passed. The views expressed by our guest speakers may or may not reflect the opinions of Helping Parents Heal leaders and members. So we ask that you take from their presentations whatever may benefit you personally. Welcome, everyone, and welcome, Lavonne. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to read a short bio for Lavonne so that you all know a little bit more about her. She's amazing. She's already come to speak to us in the past, and we have some YouTube videos with her in them. She's a spiritual teacher, global speaker, and love activist. She offers grief support to mothers who have experienced the passing transition of a child. As the spiritual teacher, Lavonne has made it her life's work to provide support for mothers to create peace while processing grief. She can connect to spirit while providing compassionate understanding and insightful shares during a time of need. Lavonne's services are a rare find. She provides workshops, private and group sessions. Another aspect of her incredible work is called Connections and Communications. It emerged because of the despair she experienced through the passing of her own daughter, Kiva. Lavonne's relationship has grown and communication with her daughter increased by allowing her heart to heal and remembering that there is no death. She offers a Saturday support for moms after the passing transition of a child every Saturday via Zoom at 9 a.m. Utah Mountain Standard Time. Lavonne gifts mothers who have experienced the passing or transition of a child the opportunity to receive additional support and insights. This is an opportunity to simply sit without saying a word, listen, or share a memory of your child. The focus is on the signs from our children, how the signs confirm they continue to live in our hearts, and much more. For more information and to attend, you can visit www.lavonnewells.com. And I'm going to put that in the chat box. And without further ado, please join me in welcoming beautiful Lavonne Wells. Welcome, Lavonne.
Yay. Glad to be here. So, today I've been thinking about what to share. There's always so much to share. And so let's just, you know, the biggest thing for me right now is what's going to serve the highest for everyone to hear, everyone here. And yes, I work with men and women and all different walks of life in my work that I do. Recently, I was told, or should I say, guided, and I said, okay, um, to really start working with the mothers. And the information I received was heal the hearts of the mothers, heal the hearts of the masses. And what I also know is that every father is a mother and every mother is a mother as well. We all hold that presence of the nurturer, the caregiver, the parent. And so that's why I created that Saturday event for mothers to get on there. And with my other works like Connections and Insights, I work with men and women as well. So as I was thinking about what to share today, what came to me was something that my daughter Kiva actually taught me, actually shared something with me. And it's called the
Okay, I think that Lavonne, she was frozen for a while there. I was going to let her know when we had a second. I think we're going to wait for her to come back in, and maybe her connection will be a little bit better. And I'm sorry about that. Hopefully you were hearing what she had to say. And I had also messaged her just to let her know that she was frozen. So she might have just, I doubt she would have just gotten out without saying something though. So
We'll wait for her.
it's funny, Angela says I was hanging on her words, LOL. I was too. I was okay. So I'm just looking. Irene, can you check and see if you see her coming back in? Because what we
Yes, I'm watching. I don't see her, but I'll keep looking.
Okie dokie. I'm going to quickly message her as well. You know, it's interesting. I had trouble with my internet connection today, but it was because we had a repairman rebooting our system. So I finally figured out what it was, but I guess this is the day of internet glitches. So let's see. I'm just going to quickly, poor Lavonne, hopefully she will come back in. Let's see. Please come back.
Yes, come back. In the meantime, we can chat in the chat. Please put where you're from. Let us know if you'll be joining us at the conference. Elizabeth talked about the live streaming, and all of the keynote speakers will be live streamed. How many live streaming events will there be, Elizabeth?
We have 16 live streaming events. So it's going to be more than just the keynotes. We have not 8 keynote events, as well as all the rest will be presentations. And we're excited about having everybody at the conference. You might want to be able to purchase the live streaming, even if you're going to the conference, because of the fact that it will allow you to watch them when you get home, and you'll have access to them for quite some time, I think forever. I mean, Carl has really been good about doing that. And I wonder where she is. I hope she's okay, huh? Let's see. Lots of people are coming to the conference though. This is exciting.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. And it'll be so much fun to meet everyone in person. And there's just so many incredible presenters who are coming. And let's see, your husband will be attending the conference. So Robin, are you not? It's just your husband, or are you coming together? I hope you're coming together maybe. But there's a huge dads group as well. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. There's a huge dads group that's going to be at the conference, and hopefully your husband is connected with them. If he hasn't, then he should reach out to Mike Edwards, who's the head of our dads group, and they're going to get together the first day, and I think they're going to stick together most of the time as well.
And yes, Rhonda, the live stream will be something that's recorded and you can watch later. Usually the live stream events, I think people have access for either 1 or 3 months. And I think Carl gave it to all of us forever, right, Elizabeth?
Forever.
I mean, yeah, he didn't put a time on it, which is really nice.
He's always been very nice about that. So if you are attending the conference and maybe you have one of the presentations that you'd like to, oh,
here she is. Yay.
And you can't get to it, you might be able to, see it later on the live streaming, but $129 is a really good price for 16 incredible presentations. So
let's look for her, Elizabeth, because she'll probably be muted.
Yes, she is muted. So we have to find her.
Let's find her.
Raise your hand. Lavonne, where are you? Let's go screen to screen. There she is. I see her.
I am.
Okay.
I'm on my phone. I don't know what happened.
Well, it was weird because you got frozen, but you were speaking so beautifully. Everybody was hanging on your every word. And then unfortunately, you just popped out. So it's no problem. We are
Okay, there we
having you
go.
on your phone.
Well,
You
now
look,
you're getting a real screen of what's really going on back here. I've got all kinds of my little shrine. All right. You know
looks
what? Here's the good news. You get to see more of my office space. And
wonderful.
the good news is this. I'm telling you, there are no accidents. We'll just go where we're at. With this really intense energy and with this great big moon, I guarantee you it's playing a role. However, our children are playing a role as well. And they just basically said, get on your phone. It's okay. Don't panic. It's going to be okay. So we'll just continue from there. So can everybody hear me loud and clear, Elizabeth?
Yes, sorry, I was muted, but I was putting my thumbs up. Yes. Perfect.
No problem. I can only see myself on the screen. I don't know why. So
Oh, I have spotlighted you, but let me see if I can do something else besides just spotlighting you. Can you change your view up at the top right to speaker view? Then you should be able to see yourself.
okay, let me see. Oh, wow. Speaker view, huh?
Oh, but you're on your phone. It's kind of
Yeah.
differently, huh?
Let's do this. Okay, I can see you and Irene and someone climbing up on a ladder.
Oh gosh, be careful on the ladder. Okay. Anyway, I'll let you speak. I'm gonna mute myself and
No problem.
I'll be here, okay?
Please edit the first part or not. It's okay. So long story short, we found a diagnosis for Kiva and we began to do her care and she was able to come home for a little bit and then many times rushed back and forth to the hospital until she stayed there. And basically what McCune Albright syndrome is basically is her cells attacking the other cells. Basically, I'm not a medical doctor. I can't explain it that clearly, but what I can tell you is that her endocrine system was shutting down. And so she was shutting down. And one of the things that I did was I said, I'm going to have faith and I'm going to believe that she's going to be cured because there is nothing that the creator cannot do. She could be healed. She could be whole. And as we continue to go through that process, it felt like it was my job. I chose very consciously for it to be my job to hold the space and to hold the faith and not be outfaithed by the medical team that she would not make it. I remember going home one morning, like 2 a.m., sitting on my bed. She's 5 months old. It's 5 months now into this experience. And my room filling up with the most beautiful light. I mean, the most beautiful, beautiful light. And I heard these voices and they were speaking. There were many, but they were speaking in one voice. And they basically told me she is going to leave. It is her time. It is her season. And there was a part of me that was very, very sad, but there was another part of me that was in such a space of appreciation that my ancestors, my angels, whoever they were, took the time to come to me and let me know what was going on because I was holding on pretty tight. I was committed. I was going to do everything in my power and I wasn't going to doubt. Anybody that was a naysayer about her condition, I would have them leave the room. I didn't want any negativity or any questioning. I didn't want anyone that didn't have faith around her. But it was that time and season where they just told me, they said, the reason why it is so difficult right now is because now she knows that she came for a time and a season. She came to put you on your path and to be about your purpose. But at the same time, now that she's been with you, she doesn't want to leave you either. And so, but she is aware that it is time for her to go. And she stayed longer than she was supposed to. So this is my own, and as you're listening to this and hearing this, I get it. Everyone has their own experience. I can only share from my own experience that they told me she came here for a time and a season and for a specific reason. And they told me that she did not want to leave me and that she was having a tough time with this whole process, and but that she will be leaving. And that's how it all got started, with me taking her off of life support. What happened was, the very next day I went into the hospital, and the doctor that was there, he said, "What do you want me to do? It's my shift. There's nothing else we can do for her. She's on 17 medications. It's suppressing her conditions, but it's not making her better." And at this point, she was on morphine. Okay. So you've got a 5-month-old, 7-pound on morphine for pain and for whatever other things that are going on in her body. And I knew that the most humane thing to do for her was to let her go. And so I met with the ethics board, and they were all in agreement. And I got to hold her for an hour when they disconnected life support. And I'm telling you, she took 3 deep breaths. It felt like 5 minutes, but it was an hour. She took 3 deep breaths and she was gone. She left from the crown of her head. How do I know that? I was holding her. And I felt the heat. I felt the energy. I felt her spirit leave the crown of her head, and immediately standing beside me. And then when I went to go place her physicality back into the bed, I just looked at it. I just thought it was the strangest thing ever, because I knew that it wasn't her, if that makes sense. I knew that wasn't the true essence of who she was. I knew that she was someone greater than this physicality. And so, with tears and with smiles on my face, bittersweet experience, I knew she was free. I knew she was no longer in pain. I knew she no longer needed medication. And then, as I went to gather her belongings and I walked out of the hospital room and went to the elevator, I heard her say to me, "Wait for me, I'm coming with you." And I get chills just even thinking about that now. And I remember getting into the elevator, and I had someone with me, a friend of mine that was with me. And I looked at her, she looked at me, and I'm like, I'm not going to tell her. She's going to think I've lost my mind. And she turns and looks to me and she says, "Did you hear that?" So it wasn't just me. And so, with that said, because I wasn't sure what I was going to share with everyone this evening, I know now the reason why that I'm sharing this part of the story, because there's so much of her story, is because, our children really, really, really want us to come up a little higher in our awareness. And the way we go about doing that, honestly, is being willing to be still, being willing to get silent, and be willing to hear the messages that they're wanting to bring to us. The remembrance, because they're saying it's not so much that messages, it's more of a remembrance. We want you to remember us before we were in physicality. We want you to remember you before you were in physicality, because then everything would begin to come together. It would begin to make sense, not in the word, not make sense in the human sense, but make sense on a soul level. And so I know that one of the things that Kiva really loves to share is let them know that we're alive and we're well. And majority of us know that, but really do a deep dive about that. Do your deep dive. Be willing to deep dive in the relationship with your child. Write the letters, have the conversations. But here's the key. You got to be willing to sit long enough to hear the response, to feel the response, to see the response, to connect with the response, right? So a lot of times we want to make these connections, but it's absolutely key that we be willing to sit with ourselves, sit in the silence, sit in the stillness, and wait for it, right? So we're going to roll this into the BGLs. So it was about maybe 12 years ago. It was an anniversary date. I don't remember if it was, I think it was a birthday. It was a birthday, Kiva's birthday. And I remember being in the car and just driving and just thinking to myself, I don't know if I've forgotten that it's your birthday. It's like, because I could feel her coming through, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what is today? What is the day? And I'm like, October 13th, it's your birthday. And I just remember her just making that connection with me. And I'm like, yeah, it's your birthday. I didn't, I wasn't thinking about it. Oh, please forgive me kind of thing. And she's just like, there's nothing to forgive. We don't worry about dates. As a matter of fact, take the dates of those times that have made you sad and actually transform and transmute those dates and do something with those dates that literally brings a smile to your face. It literally brings joy to someone else. It's like, we are not concerned about the dates, not at all. We know that you are. We know that it's important to you, but we want you to know that we're not worried about that. We're not worried about you forgetting, because love is eternal and infinite. So if love is infinite and eternal, then how can you forget about us or we forget about you? It doesn't work that way. Just so you know, Kiva's a straight shooter. She transitioned as a baby, but I'm telling you right now, it's been 22 years, and she comes to me now as a young woman, like in her 20s. So she did not stay the child. She comes to me like, hey, I'm 22 today. What's up? What's going on? It's just that casual with her. So she gave me, because I would say to her all the time, what do you want me to tell the people? What do you want me to tell the people? What do you want me to tell the parents? And she would always say, remind them to breathe, grieve, and live, the BGLs. And so breathe, we all know what breathing does for us. It oxygenates every cell in our body, in our being. When we're going through the process of missing or loving and thinking about, or in the grieving process, or a feeling of loneliness, we tend to kind of spin a little bit. We can kind of spin out of cycle, kind of lose ourselves for a moment. I'll speak for myself. I've lost myself a couple of times. But when I take that conscious breath, when I know that she's reminding me, Mom, BGL, BGL, breathe. When I breathe, I'm able to clear my mind. When I breathe, my body relaxes, my shoulders relax. When I breathe, I'm able to go into that place of stillness and that place of silence. When I'm breathing, I feel like there's more energy in every fiber of my being, right? And so the breath is a gift for a reason, the inhale, the exhale. It's like, breathe in, go ahead and feel everything that you're feeling, and breathe out. But the breath is key. And the beauty about this is there are some days where, depending on where you are on this journey, whether it be a month, weeks, years on this journey, the breath is absolutely key. But here's the deal. There'll be moments where you say to yourself, I can't breathe. I've been there. There have been days where I could not breathe, And so Spirit would always show me, why don't you just continue to let the breath be a part of your practice? It's not something you implement when the stress hits you. It's not something you implement when the grief hits you. It's not something, it's like you're consciously doing this as a normal every day. So I will, in the morning, I get up, I consciously take breaths. I like to do 4 breaths in, hold for 4 breaths out. You can go at your own pace. You don't have to do it the way that I do it. It could just simply be the inhale, the exhale. But when you're doing that, allow yourself to settle in to your body. And a way you can do this, make sure your feet are on the floor. Just be willing to take that breath. And then the G, BGL, right? Grieve. Go ahead and be about if the emotions come up, be willing to sit in the emotion. And here's the key. Sit in the emotion without judgment, without saying, I should be over this by now. Why am I doing this again? It's been 30 years. Why am I still feeling this way? It's been 2 years. Release the judgment. Be willing to release the judgment. And I know it's a practice. It's not something that just happens overnight, unless, of course, it does. So when you're in the emotion, be willing to be there, sit there, be honest with yourself. Here's the key. Be willing to show yourself compassion. Be willing to show yourself kindness. Be willing to show yourself patience.
Be your best friend. Show up for you because your children want you to do that for you. Because here's the deal. They have a huge view of us in our lives. And I'm talking beyond our physicality. They're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know my mom was like, what? Who is she? Whoa. And what is she going to do? My dad? Whoa. If he just knew this, if she just knew this about themselves, oh my gosh, nothing would get in their way. What? And so what they do is they come rushing right back in and they're like, I am committed to showing my mom, my dad, my cousin, my aunt, my grandma, my grandpa, I am committed to showing up for them in such a way that they remember for themselves. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And hence all the signs, right? And so they want us to go even deeper with that. So let me get back to the BGLs. Breathe. Practice the conscious breath all the time. So when you have the day where you can't breathe and you're passing out, rolling around on the floor, reason why I say that, because I've done that before, your body will naturally kick in the practice of the breath. It will begin to naturally kick in the practice of acknowledging the emotion through the grieving process, right? And then the key here is to be willing to say to yourself, you know, I'm hurting so bad right now. I'm just hurting. And I don't quite know what to do with all this. But you know, I haven't loved myself in a way that I deserve to love myself. And you know, I'm going to show myself some kindness because I'm sad. And I'm willing to sit in the sadness. And I'm also willing to be kind. And I'm also willing to give myself a hug. I'm willing to, you know what, sweet girl, we're sad right now, but I love you. I'm going to learn whatever it is for me to learn and expand and grow. And I'm going to do my best to remember that I am spirit first before I was physicality. And this isn't my first rodeo. And this wasn't my child's first rodeo. And I'm going to do my best to learn more about spirit and soul and awareness and consciousness and the infinite and the eternal. And I'm going to do my best. But right now I'm sad. But I'm also going to love myself in this moment. And I think sometimes that component gets lost because we go immediately from, I'll speak for myself, go immediately from the sadness, the upset, the grief into the space and the energy of, well, I know what it is that I know, so I shouldn't be feeling what I'm feeling right now. And that is the judgment. But you know what I do now? I'm having, and you know what, honestly, I'm doing really well when it comes to, okay, I'm going to tell you something. I have a confession. I'm currently grieving the transitioning of my dog, Nala. Just thinking about it's making me emotional. Because I thought, after experiencing what I experienced with Kiva 22 years ago, I thought that my heart couldn't get cracked open more than it was or had been. And I'm literally walking through the house sobbing and saying, Nala, I miss you so much. And I'm like, wow, my heart is even, I didn't realize how much the heart could expand at an even greater level, you know, at a greater space. Because I can talk about Kiva. I don't grieve my daughter anymore. I really don't. I think about Kiva and I start laughing. I think about Kiva and she just comes in the room and we have a conversation. But when Nala transitioned in April 18th, out of nowhere, you know, got a diagnosis and she shifted. And within a week, I just broke wide open my heart. you know? And it was, and what was so beautiful about that? It was Kiva that came to comfort me and to let me know that no, it's okay. You see how it works? It's like we are literally one unit. We really are. But because we have this physical body and this physical form, and we're all running around the planet in these physical bodies, we forgot that we're literally one body and one unit. All infinite expressions running around here thinking we're unique, separate from one another. And we're not. And that's why when we feel a certain way, everybody feels a certain way, you know? And for me, that brings peace and that brings freedom. Now, here's another thing. Let me get back because you know, a BGL, breathe, breathe. And then the last one, L, live, 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 live. So we're going through it. We're experiencing it. We're having all the feels. We're having all the experiences. We immediately take the conscious breath. We feel the emotion. We feel everything. We're willing to love ourselves as we're feeling it. We're willing to be kind to ourselves as we're feeling it. We're willing to show ourselves compassion and grace, right? To live, what Kiva says. Live means if you're laying in the bed, you get up out of the bed, you go in the kitchen, you wash a dish, you dry the dish, you put the dish away, you go back to bed. It's not about the hoopla. She's like, keep it simple, folk. That's just how she is. Not like her mother, a matter of fact. So, or get up, reposition yourself, sit in a chair, open a page of a book, read it, go back to bed, get up, go outside, go for a walk. Don't want to go for a walk? Get up, go outside, stand on the porch. That's living. Any step that you are taking is living. And again, be willing to acknowledge yourself for living, because I hear and I see a lot of people that say, I just stopped living. Well, are you acknowledging the teeny tiny things that you think are teeny tiny and simple? Begin to acknowledge that, because the more you acknowledge that, the more expansive and the more that grows, right? And so here's the deal. There's going to always be people talking to us and sharing ideas and informations and insights, right? But the bottom line is you are on your journey. You're experiencing what you're experiencing. All I'm doing is sharing some insights, some thoughts, some experiences that I've had with the intention of it supporting you. I know that anyone that I am to be with, to work with, to connect with, I know that if it's to be or if it's to happen, your soul is going to recognize my soul and the connection is going to happen, right? I know that your children may say, you know what, you just sit down and talk to this gal over here, you know. I know that the creator is going to make anything that gets to happen. And so I just rest in knowing that our children are alive and well. I rest in knowing that they are very involved in our lives. I rest in knowing that just as they are multidimensional beings, so are you. We, some of us may have forgotten that because we're in this physicality and this is the way it is and this is the way we've been taught and this is the way we've been trained. Who taught you that, and have you ever questioned it? Right? Now, something that the children are wanting me to bring up to the group, and we're going to bring up to the group. So we've got our BGLs, right? And then we're going to open the space and the time for questions or any insights that you would like, and the reason why I call them insights is because I truly believe that you have everything you need within you to make the connections, to receive the signs and the confirmations, And I also know that there are many that are out there that support us with their tools and their gifts to assist us. But let me tell you something. The biggest thing that Spirit keeps telling me over and over and over again is tell them. Innately within each and every one of us, we have the ability to make a connection and to communicate, and that we don't need a middle person. That to me is so freeing. Once in a while, I have a really good friend. Once in a while, I like to go and I sit with my friend and say, hey, let's tap in and tune in. You know what I mean? So it's like, but I am not dependent upon anyone or anything outside of myself, because I'm really working on being really sitting in the stillness and making a connection where it's natural to just talk to Kiva day in and day out if I choose to, and to receive that confirmation. I also know in the very beginning, I did deserve tools and I did deserve support, and I did reach outside of myself for that. You know, it just depends on the day. But we are wanting you to know that because we are one, because we are infinite and eternal, because this isn't our first rodeo, meaning being here on planet Earth, right? We want you to know that innately within you, you can do this. You can do this. The big thing, the big thing that keeps coming up from the children this evening, they won't let me forget it because I'm talking to you about this and this, and they keep bringing this in. So we're going to talk about it. They want you to know, no matter how they transition, no matter the condition of how they transitioned, they passed, no matter what occurred, they want you to please be willing to let that go, no matter how they transition. And you might say, well, how do I do that? Talk to them. Talk to them. Be willing to breathe, be willing to grieve, be willing to just take one step, and be willing to acknowledge that you are still here, fully choosing into life and you're living. Okay? They say it is so imperative that they really get this. Because as a soul and as a spirit being, how we transition does not, how do we say this? Does not stop them from being the vibrant being, the vibrant light, the vibrant soul spirit that they truly are, always have been. If you can just sit with that. They said, please, we need them to get out of the, okay, all right, okay, I'm gonna say it. We need them to get out of the story of how we pass so that more of this healing can occur, this process. They're talking about, there's so much going on right now with all of us as a planet, as a people. And as we begin to heal, let me back up, because what they're saying is the only thing to heal, because we are infinite in every way, and we are love in every way, and we are intelligence in every way. We are the parents, everyone on this call, everyone on the planet. Because we are these, because we are this. The only thing to heal is the sense of separation. The sense And even the word sense is a questionable word. The sense of separation. When the sense of separation is addressed and healed, they said, oh my goodness, the healing in your hearts, you won't see it coming, but it will snatch you up in such a way where the only thing you experience is the truth. And the truth is, we are all one, and we are infinite and eternal, and will always be that. This time and space on planet Earth, it's so short. They said if we could show you how short it really is, how much of a twinkle it really is, we would. But we know you must experience your life path, your journey, your coming up out of the ashes like the phoenix. When you are willing to release the belief, the sense of separation, oh, your hearts will heal in the most magnificent ways. And you want to talk about seeing us, feeling us, talking with us, connecting with us? That happens too. In ways that you've never imagined, in ways that you could never imagine. And so I must stop here now so that we can take some questions. But okay, one last thing. I love this. I love when this happens. We, the children, honor you for getting on this call and every other call that you get on. We honor helping parents heal. We are so thankful and so grateful. The words, there are no words to express the gratitude that we have for these opportunities. And this, we are so excited because there are some major shifts that are going on within each and every one of you, each and every one of our parents. And we are so grateful for those who have been really taking steps. You've been taking steps, you've been taking steps. You've been willing to look at this differently. You've been willing to shift the concept of death because it's a lie, it doesn't exist. You've been willing to open your hearts. You've been willing to feel. And for this, we are so grateful. So grateful. There are no words. And with that, we say, we love you. We hold you. We're with you right now. Yes. Okay, with that said and done, any questions out there, Elizabeth?
Yes. First of all, I just want to say that that was beautiful. Before anything else, I want to say that I'm so sorry about Nala, and I know how hard it is. I've had 4 fur babies pass since Morgan passed, but I know that they are having a blast with Morgan, and now I know that they're having a blast with Nala.
Nala.
I can just see all of them running around up there with our kids and having a blast. There are some beautiful things that have come in that people have said about your message. That is an amazing message. Thank you. Irene is saying so uplifting. Devin is saying, I needed this. I've been thinking about the day my daughter passed away. So this was a very, I've been thinking about it every day, excuse me. So this was much needed for her to hear that. Angelina said, that was so beautiful. Sandra B is all caps. She says, love this. And then Angelina is saying the sense of separation you spoke of was strong. And going back, I just want to also say that when you were talking about getting up from the bed and washing one dish and going back to bed, or getting up from the bed and going to the porch and sitting on the porch and then going back to bed. I love that because we have to be gentle with ourselves. But Janice says, Thank you for this. In the past month, I have spent many days between my bed and my front porch. So I think that one thing that is really important is for us not to feel guilty about healing and about moving through this and finding the other end, because that's what you're doing when you are getting up and going to the porch and maybe not getting off that porch to do anything else that you might have wanted to do that day,
Mhm.
going back to bed, but you made it to the porch. And the next day, you will probably make it a little bit further. Let me go through some of the questions though. Carmen says, thank you very much, Lavonne. This has been so wonderful to hear. I spent the last couple of hours with a dear friend whose son just transitioned from suicide. I'm trying to find the best ways to support her. This will definitely help me, which is wonderful. And maybe you can actually just show her the video. I don't know if you have some words for Carmen though, Lavonne.
You know what? We just just be there. Just show up. It's not the words, it's the energy. Just be there and show up because it's so new. We all know about the newness of it, right? And so be willing to let them know that you love them, um, and be willing to just show up energetically. You know, it's not the words, it's just simply being there. Yeah, because there's not much you can say. That is very raw in the very beginning stages, especially, you know, with how it occurred. So,
I remember friends who would come and just sit and hold my hand and not necessarily say anything. And I think that that's probably the most compassionate and kind thing that you can do, because you're not trying to fix anything.
yeah.
I think that in the early stages, it's possible to fix something, but
Yeah.
you are there for the person. Um, Let's see, Diana is saying, thank you so much. I have no words. Angelina is saying, that made so much sense to me. And Igo is saying, thank you for the message from our kids about the fact that we are all one, which is true. That's something that I think we all have to remember, that we're not separated. We're separated in our physical bodies, but these physical bodies are so short-lived. They're earth suits. These are our earth suits.
Yeah, earth suits, that's a good one.
And
Yeah.
they're going to be useful for a few more years for all of us. And then we will be using other earth suits, or we'll just be hanging out with our kids. Anna's saying, Lavonne, you are spectacular. So much healing, so many healing words from you. Let's see. So Angelina is saying, grieving the separation of his physical self, but I know his spirit and energy is huge, which is true. So this is just a
Yeah.
very small part of what we are.
And you know, this is just a bit of what we can talk about, because I love going in depth. I do deep dives. So anytime I do classes, things like that, or sessions with people, I'd like to do the deep dives where we talk about why we miss the physicality. I mean, at some level, we all know why, but it goes even deeper. And so I love deep diving into that. And we don't have time for that tonight, but that's one of those things where you can really dissect that. And it's beautiful when we do the deep dives like that. Yeah, there's so much more to that. Yeah.
Well, Tammy is saying, thank you so much. I am working hard to feel my sweet boy, 27, who I found the day after Christmas, gone from fentanyl, which I think is something that more and more people are seeing these days. And it is such a difficult thing. But again, he's with all of our kids now. He's having a blast. He's probably petting Nala right now too.
Probably. And Nala did come to me. I did have a vision of Nala. I did see Nala. Yeah. Yeah.
And she's a beautiful baby too.
Yeah.
Is it a cockapoo? No, it's not a cockapoo. It's like a poodle and something else mixed, right?
Nala?
Yeah,
Oh, she's a golden doodle. She was a
golden doodle. Yes.
poodle and golden retriever and Newfoundland.
So funny because Irene has a golden doodle but hers looks like a golden retriever. And her sister has the golden doodle's brother, and he looks just like Nala. So
Yeah, golden doodles that are completely black.
they're completely black.
Well, Nala had a little bit of white on her, but all of her was black.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe
Oh,
I'm wrong. Irene, am I wrong with Linus and
No,
Apache?
Linus is a purebred doodle. Yeah, he's a flat coat and he looks like
But
a retriever.
he's reddish, obviously,
Yeah.
and so is
Yeah.
Apache. And they all,
Yeah.
they're the best dogs. Anyway, fur babies, they're not really
Hey,
dogs.
are the dogs hijacking this Zoom tonight? Anybody else got pets out there that have transitioned? Because I feel like there's like a party with the animals and a party with the kids. I mean, is other people out there with transition dogs and cats and birds and something's going on?
Sure that there are lots of, let's see, Ruth is saying, my son brought through my dog too, so amazing. Reggie, my Boston, just passed. Most definitely, Dana is saying. Let's see. Maria and Lissa. So I guess that Maria is asking, can you give us an example of why we miss the physical of our children? That's
Ooh, that's a deep dive one.
Yeah.
Well, there's an obvious one, because this is a good one. This is one of many. Our cells, right? DNA has memory. And so it longs for, and it wants to be with, connect with our loved ones, right? Our children. But that's one of many reasons why. Also because we really just want them to be with us, but there's something to say about on a cellular DNA level, why the strength of it is so strong. Yes, it's the love, but it's also our body houses memory, and so in every part of our being, we have memory of this soul that was with us, connected to us, even if we've adopted a child. That connection we're still making that connection on a cellular level, on a soul level, you know what I mean? So that's what I mean about it being a deep dive. I mean, it's a whole 5-hour conversation, but that is one of many, one of many. And also because, and also another good one too is, and I say good one, but two is that not only are we missing their physicality, we may be categorizing it as the physicality, but we're also missing that vibrant soul that said, hey, I'm going to come and be with you and be family as well. So we're honoring, a lot of times we're grieving and we're sad, and you can totally turn that around and make it be one of those things of, I'm actually honoring this majestic soul that I got to bring forth in physicality, and now they're gone, but they're not really gone, right? But there's twofold, there's threefold, there's, it can go on and on and on. But when she asked the question, the energy was more of, because on a soul level, she knows who I am. At some level, she knows who I am. And so not to have the soul and its physicality on this journey in physicality is making me really sad. It's like, that soul, my child, I know that that wasn't just my child. We go way, 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 way back, and I miss my best friend.
That's beautiful. Yeah. So Maura is saying, my OBGYN says, as mothers, we always have the remnants of our kids' cells in our bodies. So,
absolutely. And guess what? And everybody else.
Yeah. Yes.
Exactly. And everybody else. And that's why you always hear people say all the time, it's about remembering.
Yeah.
It's about remembering. So, yeah.
Yelena is saying, what can I substitute a hug with? Do you have any suggestions for that, Lavonne?
Suggest a hug with?
No, substitute a hug with, because that's definitely one of the things we miss with our kids.
Oh, you know what? Sarah, get hugs. Go get yourself some hugs. Go talk to the neighbor. They got any kids? Make a request. That was the first thing that popped up when you said that. It's like, ask for the hug. Go get you some hugs. Get your hug on. Start with you.
Okay.
And then you may have some, some cousins, some nieces, some nephews. You may have a neighbor, people are willing to let you hug their children. If you ask someone that
Someone you know.
that knows that you're safe,
Oh,
and here's the deal: be in possibility consciousness. Be in possibility consciousness, because a lot of times our consciousness is limited, right? So when you start seeing all the possibilities, and you may not even know what some of those possibilities are, you can ask your kid, what are some possibilities of how to make that connection with you? Who do I ask for a hug? And you'll all of a sudden you're in the store and this little girl runs up to you and says, hey, can I give you a hug? We got to remember to make the request, right? We got to speak the request. We got to ask.
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have a whole bunch more people talking about how their dogs have transitioned since their children did, which I think is something that for us, it is so much easier to know that our kids are over there and ready to welcome them as soon as they get over there. At least it is for me with my
Yes.
fur babies who are part of my family. Let's see. Ina is saying, thank you so much, Lavonne. Wonderful to hear you speak. Diana is saying, I did a past life regression and found out that my son was my father in a past life. Have any thoughts about that?
Sounds good.
Sounds good. That's great.
Well, you know what? Because if we are infinite and eternal, if we are consciousness, if we are starting to shift our mindset and our heart set into possibility awareness, then absolutely, why wouldn't that be a possibility? Why wouldn't that be a possibility?
That's wonderful.
The key is, how did she feel when she heard that? Did it click? Did her heart sing? Was there, other confirming signs there? So this is where we say, go in and do the work, no matter what anyone tells you, no matter what I say, no matter what the aggressor says, no matter what anyone says, you always want to come back to you and receive that confirmation. You always want to check that and receive that information. And that therein lies the freedom. And then we can stop saying that person was a phony or a faker or this or that. No, be responsible, accountable. When someone tells you a thing, you learn about something, go inward and ask for the confirmation. We're all big, kids now.
So I just have to tell you, first of all, I agree with Ruth. She's saying you can get hugs in meditation. So you can definitely feel hugs from your kids.
Oh, absolutely. But sometimes people want that tangible. If you want a tangible, go ahead and ask for one.
Yeah. But we also have people saying, Diana says, I hug my neighbor's grandchildren and they love it. Carmen is saying, that's why I now work in a preschool. Hugs aplenty there, which is and then Igo is saying, I hugged a random group of young people that were the same age as my grandson that were at the beach. They gave me a group hug. It was wonderful. So I think that if you're open to hugs, you can probably find people who are happy to give you a hug back. And, one of the things that I believe is that when you're getting those hugs, your kids are climbing right in there as well.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I've experienced that before.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so,
possibility consciousness, anything's possible.
Yes, and we're let's see, it's time now, but I want to give you maybe just a minute to wrap up if you'd like to. I know that you have something coming up on the 27th of July. Would you like to tell us about that?
Yeah, so I've been doing this for years. It's called Connections and Insights, and you can come basically with any question. It's not just for loved ones that have passed or transitioned, you can come with any question at all. It's like, what do I do now? My relationship XYZ, anything that is on your heart that you deserve additional insight, then Connections and Insights for you. And that's on July 27th. And if you would like to join us for that, it's one of my favorite things to do. I usually keep those groups really small. I limit the seating to 12. Right now, there are 7 seats open. Basically, other people have signed up already. But if you would like to participate and you want to do a little bit more of a deep dive and go there, this will be another opportunity for you to do that as well. Just go on my website and you'll see a link that says Connections and Insights. You can click that link and you can go ahead and register that way. On the website, it'll say 12. There really isn't 12 spots. I'm still working through my website. I'm learning. I'm kind of old fashioned, so I'm putting it together. The other thing too is that we have the Saturday supports for mothers. That is a gift from me to you. That's absolutely free. You can go ahead and click on that. All that I ask is if you click on that link and say you would like to be there, and it works out for you, be sure to show up, because that's definitely a love gift from me to you. And we have people from Italy and India and all over the different states that jump on that call on such Saturdays as well. The deep dives are on the Connections and Insights, and the Saturday support, we're just basically talking up, maybe do a little meditation, have some fun. We cry together, we laugh together, and that's what I have. And then I'll see everyone for the conference.
The conference.
I think I'm speaking on Friday, I think 3 to 4. Yes.
Yes, exactly. And we're so excited about that. And so I will be including this information on the recording. And we always ask everybody, first of all, I just want to say thank you. And I also am just so happy
Thank you.
you were able to join us right before the conference. And then secondly, I'd like for everybody to be able to say thank you and good evening to you as well by unmuting.
Thank you, Lavonne.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lavonne and Elizabeth. Thank you so much.
So much. It's
Thank
wonderful.
you. Thank you so much. You
Thank
look
you.
so beautiful.
Thank
you.
Thank
So
you,
beautiful.
sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Elizabeth, before
Yes.
you end that, I want every single person to know that was on this call, without a doubt, no hesitation, your children were right there for the entire session.
Yes, I can feel it. I can feel it.
Do not
I can
question
feel
it.
it. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Thank